Hey there, it's Abigail Tiefenthaler. I am with Business Simplified, the co-founder. We're to start again. This is Abigail Tiefenthaler, and I'm the co-founder of Launches Made Simple. And I am bringing you this week's edition of Business Simplified. So yes, they were all the right words, just in the wrong place. I want to welcome you. We do this every week. And, we're here really to be a resource to you, to be a source of guidance, maybe a source of comfort, maybe even just a source of, oh, wow, that's a great aha to take away with me as I'm going about working my business, building my business, scaling my business, and putting in place all of the various moving parts that are required for today's success. We work primarily with service-based entrepreneurs. Those are coaches and consultants and people who are in the fields of, legal, financial, mental health. And they're really looking to take their expertise online, launch a high value offer, and want support because they don't want to learn or do the marketing. So we provide done for you agency services. We do all of the content creation. We do the implementation, we do the analytics, and come alongside of you as a marketing partner, basically, to identify really what's the best next step. Everything we do, though, starts with the theory of one. And so that's what I want to talk about a little bit today. The theory of one is the idea that we are going to focus on one target audience with one message, with one offer, with one marketing strategy and funnel, and with one sales strategy and process. One. And the reason why we do this is because we want to be able to always answer the question, will this get me closer to my goal? So when we know what the goal is, I want to work with 10 $5,000 clients before the end of the year. I now know I have 2.5 months to make that happen. So how am I going to make that happen? That's one goal, 10 $5,000 clients. I want to have a group program ready to launch, and I'm going to charge $3,000 for each person in the group. And I want my group filled with, 7 to 10 people. That's a goal. The goal has to be finite. We have to be able to know the number, either of people, the number of dollars, so that we can now back in and reverse engineer what we're going to do. So that's the first step in the theory of one. So the next step is we want to look at all of the various target audiences that we might be able to work with and whittle it down to one. And the reason why we do that is so that we can have a very strong, disruptive, and compelling message that when things show up in their feed, either organically or through paid media, they are resonating with that message specifically. If you take a look at divorce, for instance, if you're a divorced mom with kids and now you're a single parent, you are going to be looking for very different types of support potentially than a divorced woman who has no children. So you have a message that talks more about keeping the family together, supporting the family through the process, making sure the kids are all right, where the other is, don't let this derail your career, or just different messaging will resonate differently with different groups. And then we take one strategy. What are we going to do? Are we going to do organic marketing? Are we going to do paid marketing? What tactical elements are you going to incorporate? Are you going to be using social media for your organic marketing? Are you going to be using networking and referrals? Are you going to be cold calling to kind of start the process, bring people into your database so that you can email them? What are you doing? If it's paid, again, networking is paid traditionally. Are you willing to speak on stages and pay to speak, whether you can sell or not? Are you going to use paid ads on which platforms and why? Are you, going to invest in a series of videos so that you can get out there with a more professional, maybe Facebook Live series? What are you going to do to kind of market, right? But one message, going back to that target audience, one strategy to get it going. What's going into that funnel, right? Most of our funnels start with an ad. They go to a landing page. From the landing page, they go into some type of free educational tool. With us, it's usually a webinar. Then the call to action, schedule a strategy session. We want them to apply to that strategy session. So we have a little bit of background on them. And then we have a live strategy session. We don't do click to buys, because we believe that when we can get on that call, if we're focusing on one offer, if that offer isn't a good next step for the prospect with whom you're speaking, you can actually kind of, pivot down to something maybe less expensive with less personal one-on-one involvement, or pivot up to something that's more expensive with more one-on-one support. So there's a lot of ways of doing this where are the live strategy call happens to be, I think, the best way to sell a high ticket item. If they opt in but don't go into the webinar, they go into an email sequencing. If they go to the webinar but don't schedule a strategy call, they go into the email sequencing. And so now those emails are going out continuously. And somebody said, well, when do you stop? You don't. You can start recycling at around 50, but you want to go out there and you want to be communicating with them. That database is gold. You want to be asking them questions. You want to be sending them little tips. You want to be sending them information about their industry. Don't assume that they're the expert on their industry. They may not have time to read what's going on in their industry. They're so busy working. So that's our funnel, and that's the theory of one. The other elements that can go into place and really, are helpful is you want to have whatever social media platforms you plan on engaging, you want to make sure that your landing, your banner pages are clear, that you're using a business page, especially on Facebook, you're bringing them into that. Do you have a free group? You bring them into that. Then you're providing organic content in that group. Again, doing the same things to build engagement, asking questions, providing tips, looking for resources, giving them an opportunity to introduce themselves. So there's a lot of very specific things that happen at specific times once you have the fundamentals in place. The fundamentals, I keep on going back to the fundamentals because, again, if your basement is insured, if it's not strong enough to withhold the building of a house, you can't even think about building that house. The basement is your most critical component, the thing that makes everything else in your house work. And in business, your basement is your strategy, is your, the questions you're going to ask about your business strategy, the business model, the why you do it, and the vision, the mission, the values. What do you want to do? What do you see happening? Then you go into the brand strategy with who are you? What do you do? Why do you do it? Who do you do it for? Why do they need it? Why are they willing to pay for it? So those two strategic areas are really important because they're going to help you really lay the rest of the groundwork and the rest of the building blocks for the marketing that's going to be more effective, more simple to actually produce, the tactical elements that you may use, and then the sales strategy that you're going to use as well. So I'm trying to keep these short. We're at about 11 minutes. I'm going to sign off and just let you know I'm always here if you ever want to talk. You want to talk about what you're doing now, what you think you should be doing in the future, why you feel like a hot mess, why you're overwhelmed, where you're spending your time, where your gaps are. All of those things, talking through with a stranger can sometimes really help you get some clarity, because without that clarity, you're going to continue to go around in circles and you're not going to be as productive with your time. You're not going to be able to leverage your resources and you're just not going to get to the level of success you're hoping to get for. And we want you to be successful. So again, this is Abigail, co-founder of Launches Made Simple, with our weekly Business Simplified edition, and, to your success. Bye now. Till next week.